So in terms of next steps, as I mentioned, it's back with the World Plumbing Council. We provided our comments. We've got a few things to address. And then it goes to our group of expert regulators for them to, again, provide their comments. And eventually we're looking at a publication by WHO and making this available to regulators around the world. So next, internationally harmonized standards and definitions. So I'll give you some background. Globally, we need to have a better understanding of health and environment terms. This is not just a plumbing issue, this is the whole health and environment suite. So what we've developed is an online searchable database that has terms with definitions, but also terms with their multilinguistic equivalents in Arabic, Chinese, English, French, German, Russian, and Spanish. Now, 5 of these are the official WHO languages. German is not one of them. But the German government graciously offered to translate the terms for us, so we're including that in our online lexicon. So in terms of what is actually in this online lexicon, well, if we've got a definition, it also has explanation, example, and a reference, and sometimes with hyperlinks to other information in other documents. Now, this is not as easy as it sounds. In some cases, you'll have a term that has one denotation in one context, like risk assessment, but if you look at it in climate change, it has a different definition, different denotation. So what we do is when there's some conflict or some differences, we'll actually put more than one definition, and we've got it designed so we can actually put in more than one definition. And we list them in terms of WHO definitions first, because we can, followed by United Nations and other international organizations like the World Plumbing Council, and then down from there. I mean, even just last week, I mean, I'm not a plumber. So last week, I had always been under the impression that plumbing was moving water or wastewater from A to B, you know, from source to tap and then to wastewater. And when I had the conversation with the plumbing definition, with the plumbers on the phone, with the World Plumbing Council, they're saying, well, no, it's the property line. And so you can find yourself speaking in English, the same language, but you're talking about 2 different things and you're using the same terms. And this is why this lexicon is so important. We need to make sure we have the same understanding of the terms, otherwise people like me get completely mixed up. So in terms of where we're at, well, we have over 3,000 terms in English, 2/3 of which have been translated into French and Spanish, and 1,800 into Portuguese. Around 1,300 have been translated into Arabic, Chinese, and Russian, and the German government has just under 700 for us. In terms of where we're at, well, I'd hoped to get 100 definitions done by this year, which meant I would only have 30 years of work to do. I'm pleased to say we actually got 600 terms done this year, and so I may only have another 4 years of working on this. Yay. Now, the World Plumbing Council has identified 75 terms as a priority, such as air brake, back pressure, and of course the definition of plumbing. Most of the draft definitions have been given to WHO, and we're currently reviewing them with our expert advisor. And 21 definitions have gone through the full approval process and are published. And you can access this lexicon at this particular website, so feel free to go in. So in terms of future and ongoing work, and by the way, this is not a developing country, this is a developed country, your photo you're looking at. This is United Kingdom. I mean, this plumbing is an issue no matter where you go. So what we're looking at for the future is we're looking at hopefully continuing this collaborative relationship with the World Plumbing Council and their member organizations into the future. We see it as being very beneficial. Thank you.
I had a question. You mentioned the limited recognition of the importance of plumbing in protecting water supplies, and certainly there seems to be a lot of work going on. Do you feel that the message is getting through to consumers?
I don't think the message is getting through to consumers. I think that as WHO, there's a role that we can play in terms of getting messages through to consumers. Certainly we start at the top and we work with our member states and go downwards. But there's also a role that you as the plumbing industry and the plumbing community should be playing in terms of getting that message out there. And so we as WHO, we can help in terms of developing guidance documents and getting the message out onto our website and providing quotes and speaking at these sorts of symposiums to give you the evidence and information you need to get that message out. But it does rest on both of our shoulders.
Okay. Yeah, Doug Frederickson, City of Corona, and I'm with IAPMO and the Cause Committee. And I had a question relating to the last one, the WHO in these developing countries. What kind of funding do you have for advertising to local populations?
WHO is an interesting organization. I come from government where we were actually funded. WHO's budget is 20% core and 80% are resources we get from member states or from organizations like the World Plumbing Council. We rely very much on interested parties to support specific activities. So at this point, if you'd like to express interest in providing that sort of support, I'd be more than willing to have a conversation with you about it.
Well, I'd like to thank Jennifer for a very informative presentation. I think we heard Administrator Johnson say earlier that we kind of take our water supply for granted in this country and in Canada, and I think that's certainly the case. And I think Jennifer shows some pretty stark evidence of what happens when the water supply is endangered the way it was in many, or the way it is in many countries around the world. So I would like to thank her for her presentation.